Here we go, guys. Welcome to my top 8 books that you must read before you turn 18. And so, this means that we're not going to have 50 Shades of Grey, and we're definitely not going to have Game of Thrones. Sorry to you diehard fans. Right, at number 1, okay, anyways, wait, before that. These are my personal top 10, or top 8, sorry. And if you have any other opinions or other suggestions, just write them down in the comments below. Anyways, starting in at number 1 is Skulduggery Pleasant. If you guys can see that. Yes, there you can. This was, I think, a book I picked up when I just started secondary school. And it's a book, as you can see, that revolves around a skeleton detective and his understudy, which is a little girl. I think she's 12 or 11 when this book starts. There are 9 of these. I have all of them. They're upstairs in my room. And I'm recommending them to children and also parents that might watch this to give to their children. It's an easy read. It's very well done. There's no mature themes, and it's very, very funny. I will sit in the classroom sometimes reading this and start laughing to myself, even now at my age, and people will look at me and say, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I'm going to keep this relatively short if I can, because that's going to be an overkill otherwise. Yeah, it's a really good book. It's about magic. As you can tell, there's a skeleton detective. It has to be about magic. What the hell is going to keep him awake otherwise? And there are so many just new characters that you meet in every other book, and they're very, very well done. Up next is The Hobbit. I've done Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit separately because they are 2 different stories revolving around 2 different characters about more or less 2 different things. And here we go. It's The Hobbit. You guys have to have heard of The Hobbit, so I won't have to go into that much detail about it. There's a movie about it as well. It's centered around Bilbo Baggins, little hobbit from the Shire, off on a big adventure, first ever to do this as well. So it's a big thing. It's very well written. It's not one of the easiest reads for somebody who would be, I think, 12 maybe. Very, very interesting. Relatively low-key. Again, no mature themes, and it's a very nice read. I enjoy it. The world he creates around you, what is this, J.R.R. Tolkien? The world he creates is a very, very intricate and wonderful world, and I would definitely recommend this book to anybody if you haven't read it already, which I would be very surprised about. Up next at number 3 would be Lord of the Rings, just following in for The Hobbit. This is the fat one I stole off my cousin. It is a 3-part book. 3 parts, yeah, all 3 of them. And this is completely different to The Hobbit in the sense that this book is so much harder to read. You need to be able to persevere. Sorry, that's my cat. You have to be able to persevere and read this. Otherwise, you know, it's not gonna, one second, it's not gonna be worth it. Poor thing is bugging me. I enjoy it very much. I find it very hard to read the first time. I read it, I think, twice through because some of the parts I skipped out because I was quite young when I started reading this. I think I was 12, 13. And it wasn't the easiest read in the world. I will keep on repeating this point. I don't know why. But it was a very enjoyable book nonetheless. And I do recommend it to anybody over the age of 13, 14. Hey, look at that. Who's this? That's my cat. Okay, he's going to kind of get annoying in a bit, so let's sit him down here. Come. Sit your ass down here, fool. Before you bug me and I get upset. Okay. At number 4, we have The Way of the Shadows. I don't honestly have a copy of the book because I'm not that well off. No, I'm joking. It's just because I borrowed my friend's copy when I was reading it the first time. And so I bought number 2. Let me just direct you over here. This is what it looks like. Number 1, The Way of the Shadows by Brent Weeks. And it's a very, very good book. I would not recommend this for anybody under the age of 15. They have mature themes. There's a lot of profanity in it. But otherwise, the book is quite similar. Honestly, it's quite similar to Lord of the Rings in the sense there's a lot of magic. Loads of cool mythical beasts, creatures. I think it's more medieval. Not even medieval. It's quite a Oriental Japan kind of vibe it gives off. I don't know what the period of time is. I've lost that in my head now. But it's set in the time of samurais and honor and assassins and whatnot. It's very, very good. It's centered around a boy named Azoth, who is a rat guild, and he kind of throws away his life and he encounters an assassin, and he basically apprentices under an assassin. It's basically about him struggling to do what he wants and fighting for the things he loves. It's a very, very good book. I would recommend it to anybody over the age of 15. I enjoy it thoroughly. I've read it quite a few times. As you can see, my book is kind of worn out from the curved edges. It's 3 books in the series, and the ending of the 3rd book is amazing. Surprisingly, not very many books end the 3rd book very well, and you'll see that later on in the series. Anyways, up at number 5, we have The Magician's Guild. I haven't read this book in quite some time, so I'm not extremely sure on how it goes. But it's about a girl who comes from the slums, and she kind of fights her way into a magician's guild, and she kind of gets treated very badly. And it's all about her fighting her way for what she stands for, people looking down on her, and her just generally being the scum of everyone else, or basically subjugated to everybody else's torture. It's a very good book. Again, I wouldn't recommend it for anybody under the age of 14, 15. It's got mature themes. It's not as much swearing. It's not as bad as The Way of the Shadows. But again, it's quite intense. A lot of fine fight scenes. Very, very illustrative is the word. And I would give a good thumbs up. Read it. Go ahead and check it out. I will show you guys on Amazon the prices of the books if you guys are interested at all. Now, I did say top 8. I don't have the copies of the rest, so we will have to go to Amazon for the remainder of this video. Okay, so now we have The Painted Man. The Painted Man is honestly, hands down, one of my favorite books, written by Peter V. Brett. It just takes me out of this world. One of the books you have to read before you're 18. I think you would want to be... When you start the first book, you don't have to be that old. You can be, 12, 13, 14, 15, and read it and enjoy it. But after that, you gotta be a bit older to read it. There's a lot of mature themes, profanities, and the gore. Yes, there is gore in a book. What the hell? There is gore. Love this book to bits. It's $8.99 on Amazon, and I'm not really gonna go that much into detail about it. It's about a boy named Arlen, who's living in a hamlet, and he wants to do more than just live in a hamlet. He wants to fight demons. Demons are what come out at night, and they plague the world. He wants to fight them, but in order to fight them, he has to regain the combat wards of old, which have been lost over the centuries. This book doesn't just center around him, it centers around 2 other characters, which I'm not going to go into detail about. You would read it, find out. It's a slow book, yes. I think it is a very, very slow book. I'm not going to deny that. But the last few, the last 100 pages, last 200 pages are amazing. And that is what drags you into the first 3 books. The 4th book that they have was slightly rushed and not so well done. That's basically it. Now we are going to head on to number 6, which is Aragon. Aragon is now $3.99 on Amazon, and it was very well done. Written by 15-year-old Christopher Paolini. That's, I think, how you spell his name. It's about a boy loving his dragon. Amazing book. You guys should have heard of it, seen the movie at least. Yeah, I love it.